And again, this is quality from start to finish, improving your customer journey. So you guys can go ahead and get started. Just kind of introduce yourselves on that next slide, and we can get going from there.
Okay. So, hello everyone. My name's Mohammed Bilal. I am the co-founder and director of product development at Growing Cloud. Uh, I am passionate about the use of technology, and I've been helping businesses for the last 8 years to implement technology tools into existing business processes for improved customer experiences. Today, I will be talking about the customer journey mapping, and I hope you guys will find it interesting and helpful. And now I will let my colleague Jahan to introduce himself before he goes on to start talking about his part of the webinar, which is on collecting customer data and effective use of it. There you go, Jahan.
Thank you, Bilal. Hi, my name is Jahan, and just like Bilal, I'm the co-founder of Growing Cloud. I mean, I have been working with small and medium businesses for the last 10 years in different roles, and that kind of entailed liaising with clientele from a sole trader, micro business to kind of a medium enterprise. And just like Bilal, I'm also kind of really passionate about helping with small businesses and trying to find any ways and kind of the best practices which can help those people manage their business operations efficiently. And hence that's why we are here today to kind of outline what we think is important to uh, what is important in the improving the customer journey, whichever business and industry you might be working in. Okay, now I'll start off first with kind of explaining you what we think is essential in improving your overall customer journey. And there are a number of things which you can or should have in mind when you are kind of mapping the customer journey. But very important point is that you have to kind of know the kind of data that you are collecting. So once you collect the raw data of any organization, it would and customers, it would really help you in kind of making the right and sound decisions for your business. And there are different types of data as what you can collect, but knowing the nature of business these days is kind of evident that almost all businesses do have some website presence. So we would start off by talking about the data which you can kind of collect from your website. Now, I would like to make 2 points here that those of you who don't have a website, I would strongly recommend that you should actually invest in a website, because not only is it a gateway to your company, but it would increase your branding. And secondly, if you have a website, make sure it is attractive and it does kind of give the information which people may be interested about your business or a brand, because this is the first real experience people would have about your product. And the kind of data that comes on your website, what you need to know is that how do actually people find you? And that can start off with like the common keywords people might put in, and that kind of data they might put in which they can find you through an organic search, what we call. Now, organic search basically means is they go on the search engine and they will type in a keyword of the problem or pain point that they may have. And with all the content and kind of blogs of your website's presence there, what that might do is it would bring up your website and they can click on the link to come on your actual website and look for the problems that they may be facing. So that is one way, the organic one. And we would recommend in long term is always better to invest in SEO so you can get a lot of traffic coming to your website through organic search. The second one is again is kind of going through the paid ads, which I believe most of you guys would be familiar with, which is in form of a Google ad or through a Bing search engine. Now that what basically really means is that you basically invest on the actual keyword which you can bid for. And once the person types in that keyword on Google, for example, if you're looking for a invoicing software, somebody might just type in invoicing or payments. That can be a keyword. And if you kind of bid on that keyword, if they that would appear your actual business on the search engine page, and by clicking on that, people would land into your website page, what you got as a landing page there. I'll talk more about a landing page in a little while. So that is the second form of getting the website into your traffic. The third way, which I think is most efficient and a way where you can engage with people globally, is the social media way. Now, we all know about the big social media channel. One of them is Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, etc. So if you start by Facebook, for example, what you can do is that you can actually target the people's by, because Facebook gives you a lot of data, you can target them by their demographics, by the actual age, location, hobbies, interests. So based on that, you can, again, like the paid AdWords, you can kind of set a budget for a day. And what that would do is that would actually list your software or the product that you may have on the newsfeed of those people on Facebook who have the similar interests. And then that could instruct them or can make them click on the actual link, read more about your website. And that's another form of bringing people to your website. And now when we come to the second point, which is important pages. Now, this is what I meant by the important pages is that you have to keep in mind that which pages are these people landing on. So for example, if you're talking Growing Cloud, obviously if you're going to type in the homepage, that would be www.growingcloud.com. But depending on the AdWords that we design or you would design in your business, we have to keep in mind that which is a landing page. So for instance, if somebody is actually looking for a invoicing software, let's just talk about that, they will type in a keyword of invoicing. It's much better for us to actually land that person on the invoicing page, which kind of highlights the features, the pain points this our software would address in, and that would help them make a decision in actually the information that they're looking for, rather than coming on the homepage and then just having to browse through to go to the actual page, which is they are looking for, and that is the invoicing one. And this would again help you with actually knowing the goal conversion, because the whole objective of this is that you have to convert them into sales and leads. So depending on the different types of data that we have, that we've talked about it, that there are 4 kind of ways where you can get the people coming into your website: through organic search, paid AdWords, through Google or Bing, social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Depending on the budget that you have, people would come. And then we need to make sure that are they actually landing in those pages. And that brings down to another page, is that once we had this information, how do we kind of analyze it? And that can be analyzed by, there are different reporting tools available, like Google Analytics is a good one to start off with, which would kind of give you an overall picture of how are people coming on your website, which pages are they landing on, are they coming through a paid work, organic way, and then you can see the conversion rate as well, as in there might be 100 people clicking on your website, only 4, 5 or 6, or depending on how many people are actually converting, clicking on it and converging and signing for a trial or raising an inquiry. And what we also, and this would also help us in identifying the actual typical path the people are taking in making a decision. So this can also help you in mapping the journey by knowing what is the person looking for. So rather than letting the customer go through an endless journey, like looking for the keywords, going on your website, then the knowledge base, then they may have to go on a YouTube channel, etc., you can kind of streamline or optimize the whole path. So once you know what they're looking for, how do they come on your website, if it's actually working, you can kind of optimize that, and that would really help you in convert in the sales conversions or inquiries. Can we move to the next slide, Bilal?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Now, this is another second part. As you all know, customer information, but every business is there to serve the customers, and they really need to know the information that they get from customers is a genuine one. And the real problem what a lot of people really face is they actually get in their feedback from the customers, which would really help them in improving the customer journey and any services that they may have. And there are a number of ways that you can quantify the customer information, which can be very useful for you. To start off with, we can kind of categorize that, I would say, in frequently asked questions. Now, what I mean by frequently asked questions is that they're going to be common questions which would keep appearing again and again. And if you can actually address those questions, not only would they like reduce the stress on your staff, it would also give you more time to increase the sales, improve customer satisfaction, and that can result in raising the profile of your business or getting the repeat customers. And I'll give you one little example here, like which we kind of saw from the sales team point of view, was that in Growing Cloud, that there were common questions which our sales team was facing. And one of them was in terms of like for validity, they were asking that which other customers do you have? Do you have some customers of like, you know, who are actually working in my industry, or, you know, if there are any big customers who have kind of had a similar pain point or the challenge which I'm facing. And then there was another one which was always coming is, but do you actually tie us down to a contract, or we can sign for a trial? So by analyzing the customer's psychology, you could say what the people wanted was, what we did is we have kind of identified some personas. We have kind of listed them on our website. So, you know, depending on if you are from a different industry and these are the kind of challenges or problems you're facing, our software can help you overcome them and meet that challenge. And the second one was that like, you know, do we actually have to, did the customers have to pay anything up front? In order to address that, what we did is we have offered people a free trial. So this is one example of like, if you look at the frequently asked question, it can really help you in your sales or the business process. Then there's a second one, which is kind of a general complaints. Now, we all know in every business, you are going to face complaints. People would complain about, you know, the nature of the business, if the product is not working, etc., and how you can resolve it. So again, a simple word, this just comes down to the philosophy of that, you know, treat the customer the way you want to treat the way you want to be treated. And if there's any complaint which may be coming, then are there ways to address them, rather than like the people coming on the phone call waiting for it. Like, you can kind of improve the complaints procedure by introducing a ticketing system or something. So just make sure that once there are any complaints which you have received from a customer, that you have a way of addressing it, and then you can learn from that as well to ensure that this complaint does not occur again. There's another one, again, depending on the nature of your business. If you're working in customer service or software support, they are going to be common support requests. Now, that support issue can be like people may need support by going on board, or support with like logging onto your system, or anything to do with your business in life. They need some training. So it's always a kind of a good idea to have something in board to actually help people with the support and the request issues that they may have. And there are ways of addressing that. Like, for example, if somebody has just got a problem with, sorry, not a problem, I mean, somebody wants to know that, you know, if there's something that appears that they're not familiar with, that instead of just going on the phone to call you guys, you can have some sort of like a knowledge base or support section on your website of your business or user manual, and that can kind of really help people with the support issues, and that can increase their customer satisfaction and the whole journey experience of the customer. And the fourth point I really think is important is this actual survey responses. Now, this again it's always a good idea to reach out to your customers, maybe once in a month, periodically, or at least after every couple of months, to ask them about their feelings, as in how do they feel about, you know, the business, and just try to get any suggestions from them. And, you know, you can start off with a lot of things, and some of them can be like just ask them what are the issues that they are facing in terms of like with the problem that they've got in mind. And once you know that, then that would really help you in actually resolving that issue. And the second point you can keep in mind is that you can ask them, how do they go about trying to find a solution? So, if they can't really find anything that they're looking for, what would they do? Would they actually make a phone call? Would they contact a friend, or would they go and browse on the website? And with this kind of behavior pattern, then what you can do is you can kind of provide this solution to them. So if you know the person, one, he identifies a problem, etc., he would go and browse on the internet. So it's much better that you kind of invest on your website. So any frequently asked questions or problems that the people may have, it's better to put the answers and the case studies of that on the website rather than waiting for them to come back to you. And then you also, by knowing their pattern in their behavior is, you can ask them that, do they check in more than one place? As in, when they are looking for something, and try to get as much information as you can from those people. And it would really help you in improving the whole overall customer experience, the journey, and being able to address the problem the people are facing. And then there are some other ways of getting feedback is that, you can go on, the trade centers, exhibition centers where you speak to people. They can kind of give you incredible value as well sometimes. And then if, depending on your nature of the business, if you've got kind of like a high store, a store on the high streets, that there's going to be a lot of foot traffic on your website. In your business. I'm just talking too much about the website, and that is another thing. And then you have to look at the metrics of your traditional marketing tactics as well. So are you getting any trade? You can ask these kind of questions in the survey. That how are they hearing about you? Is it like, do they respond to you by an email, or by the billboards, or is it to do with like do special offers, that the kind of thing that you do? And these are the kind of things you need to ask in this survey. And most importantly, that there should be a section where you ask people that what is making them come back. And what I mean by this is that this is your important segment of the businesses, the loyalty of the customers, the repeat customers. And it's really important to ask them the kind of issues that they are facing, so they can kind of describe you the issues, and then from there on you can basically address that and just ensure that they keep coming back to you. And I think I've kind of covered that, Bilal. So if you just kind of go to the mapping the journey, and you can take over from there, because I'm sorry about this, that the slides, it was not moving the slides through, but I think I've addressed that. So Bilal, you can go to mapping the journey now.
Okay, no problem. So hello everyone again. My name is Mohammed Bilal. As I stated earlier, when we first introduced ourselves, that I'll be talking about the mapping the customer journey. I am very happy to see that Jahan has actually touched on the topic of mapping the customer journey in relation to the collection of data, but I will be talking in a bit more detail. So no matter how great your product or service or how effective your marketing strategy is, you know that you will not be able to make your customers happy unless you try to understand the experiences and expectations from your organization at every touch point. Now, by touch point here, in the business terms, is all those points of contact between customers and your organization. So whether that's through the mobile app, phone, website, referrals, email, or the actual product. If you have a customer who walks into your store and buys a product for the very first time, that's their first touch point, because that's where they are interacting with your customer facing part of your business. Now, there can be a number of steps which we can kind of like plan in the customer's journey, and we can use those steps to learn more about customer experiences in order to not just to improve our internal organizational processes, but also to actually have an effective strategy for enhanced customer experience. Namely, this can be the planning and exploring, selecting, buying, using, maintaining, renewing, and replacing. So these can be the possible steps in customer's journey. But as you can imagine, that these steps can always be different and can always be tailored according to each organizational or even the individual customer's needs. Because the slide you are viewing right now is a very generic template example. So rather than talking too much about the actual template, I would go into specific details to make a more specific point about how the customer journey starts, and how does it move on in terms of the interaction between the organization, your business, and the customer. And so there are some important considerations to make there in order to assess the steps involved during the customer journey. So the first very vital one is, how is the customer interacting? So that the touch point. So whether they have come through online traffic, like Google Ads or social media campaigns, as covered by my colleague Jahan earlier, or whether it's just an in-person contact. So if we have a high street store, if it's just a foot traffic where they have literally just walked in and this is their first experience with the organization, they have no idea what you do in terms of like your the previous customer experiences or the quality or value of products, and you don't know what sort of background they represent and what do they actually expect from your business. So this kind of thing. And then there are other issues. For example, how will you resolve common issues? How will you bring the customer back? These are the later stages of the customer journey. So I will go into a bit more detail about the first step, which is how is the customer interacting. Now, even though at this very point, we are literally just talking about the considerations in terms of what to consider to map the whole customer journey. But as I said, these things are very important, because how well you plan these factors would have a lasting effect on how valuable the data collected or the analysis being done on the customer journey in order to improve your internal processes and improve the actual customer experiences. Now, to be very precise, we are, as you can see, we still have the same template as shown in the earlier slide. This can be used as a kind of a worksheet, which which can be used to see the customer coming from a certain how we can actually map their journey. So as you can imagine, in today's globalized technological world, there are thousands and hundreds and thousands of people who are making their purchases online every second. The interaction they make with the businesses using the mobile app or the website is kind of very different from how a traditional business transaction would take place. So that also means that every customer journey through these different touch points would actually differ in a lot of ways. So you have to plan your analysis from your organizational perspective in a very different manner, considering what factors, what systems, what skills, what capabilities, what sort of what parts of organizations are involved in that particular customer journey. And so I think it is very important to consider the use of a worksheet to actually plan the customer journey mapping in this regard. Now, rather than talking about the three other points made here, I would actually straight go into the customer processes and internal processes, and then come back to those 3 points when I later on use a real world example, and then show you how you can actually make good use of those considerations as well. So as you can see on the screen right now, the first row shows how different customer processes work within the organization, and then the second row, the internal processes are the different examples, which are obviously not there, but I will talk more about it. So as you can see, for example, if a customer arrives at the website and he or she tries to navigate for help section, now there can be 2 possibilities. One, that your help section is very well organized. Customer is able to find what he or she is looking for, and they are your happy customer. So it's the start of a very happy customer's journey. But on the other side of it, if your help section is not very well organized, if it's not user friendly, if it does not contain the information customers usually look for, then of course we have the pain point there. So we are kind of having the negative emotions being generated at that particular touch point. So there can be a number of things we can obviously do to improve these processes, to avoid the negative emotions and create more positive value during these customer interactions. As you can see that the improvements and key learnings section, the 3rd row there, well, the 4th really, you can outline all the points you can possibly make or take really to improve the customer journey and to improve the customer service processes, given the fact that once you have identified how good or bad your internal processes are. So once you have identified the problem, once you have identified the gap between desired, expected, and the actual process which is there right now, you can then make the improvements in how your business is actually delivering its services. And this is very important because when customers come to your business, they always have a certain expectations from your organizations. Of course, it is impossible for your organization to cater for all the customers or to meet the desires of all the customers who are possibly coming and interacting with your organization. But what you can do is through the continuous analysis of the customer data and through continuous assessment and evaluation of business and internal processes, you can try to align the level and the quality of your services with the expectations of your customers. And this is how you narrow the gap between desired and actual. This particular example can be used in at various stages of customer journey. So from the very first point of contact to the point where customers is actually helping him or herself to find more about your particular product or service, and then going on to submitting a request to find more about any of your services which are not listed on the website, or if they are, then they still want to find more about it, or even to book an appointment to talk to you in person, things like these. And then another a very important segment of customer interaction can be the follow-up. So how good your customer service team is in following up with the customers to find out if they're happy with the service, or if they're not happy with the service, then what your organization can possibly do to make them happy. And then we can move to the happy stage of resolution. So whether your processes can help achieve the resolution eventually. And if they do, that means, of course, they're doing something great there. If not, then you need to find out where the issues are, where the gaps are, and try to fill those in. Now, I would move on to the next slide there, which is about improving the customer experience. Now, as you can imagine, the things we've talked about in terms of mapping the customer journey, there were some considerations which I did not talk about. If I quickly go back, these three here: how will you resolve common issues? How will you bring the customer back? How to use the customer in more ways? Now, I would try to talk about a particular example here, and then try to make my point about how you can bring happy customers back, and then those customers would potentially spread the word about how good your product or service is. Now, research shows that customer emotions are power drivers of customer decisions. So from this perspective, negative emotional experiences will stand out more in customers' memory as compared to positive ones. So there can be number of steps which you can take to bring out more positive emotional experiences. So starting with the very first one right away, it would be the understanding customers' emotional experience, feelings, questions, and motivations during their contact with the organization. So from this perspective, customer journey mapping can be used as a tool for both functional and emotional understanding of customer experiences. And then in the second step, you can, as I've touched on this earlier, but this is very important. And that, again, that is identifying the gap between desired and actual experiences. And once you have done that, you can move on to the third step of focusing more on what you can do for your customers to maximize the chances of delivering desired level of customer journey. So this is, as you can see, it is very logical and very natural for any organization to first identify the gap between the desired and actual, and then try to narrow that gap, try to deliver the best possible customer service. And then in the end, the very important stuff, which kind of I would say very vital in terms of how you execute the first three steps, and that is the skills, systems, and procedures. So what sort of skills your staff have, what sort of systems they use, what kind of procedures, as we talked about earlier, what kind of internal processes they actually go through to do what they do. Now, I would briefly touch on the good use of Growing Cloud here, because Growing Cloud, as you can read more about it on our website, growingcloud.com, it's a real-time customer engagement tool for better collaboration and quicker yet efficient sales management. And it actually serves as an integrated one platform for all your staff and customers, which means, you know, you can achieve your revenue targets alongside customer satisfaction goals just on one platform. But you can, of course, find more about it and sign up for a free trial to experience this. But the general point I'm trying to make here is that it is very important to not just to have the right people, but also to have the right systems and procedures to have the best possible customer journey. And now I would jump straight onto an example, the real life example, to make my point about how to bring these customers back and how to address the issues they might have. All those three questions I emphasized earlier, but I missed out because I just wanted to relate those to the real life example rather than just talking in generic sense. So let's consider an example of a restaurant. Now, which restaurant would you know of that doesn't want to make the customer happy? So all restaurants want to make the customers happy. but it would require knowing about the customers and finding the ways of how to improve their experience through effective improvements. So looking at what sort of people their customers are, what do they expect from a restaurant in terms of their service, food, and so on, that can really help them deliver the best customer experience. So customer journey mapping in this example will be seeing the customer experiences from their eyes rather than from your own organizational perspective. So quite simply, what did they want? Or what did they get? So, you know, this kind of analysis would help restaurants take out the negative emotions and bring in the positive ones. And by the way, qualitative research and analysis like this also provide great insights and data to develop improved customer service experience, not just in long term, but also immediately, which means, as Jahan talked about earlier, the collection of data through the right sources is very important for any business these days. And which means, you know, if you have the right data in front of you, and you have improved certain processes according to that analysis, then your staff can actually adopt those new effective practices and make it work for your organization. So in this particular example, let's say a student who is looking for comfortable restaurant experience and would like to make a group booking for his fellow students. He finds the restaurant mobile website too complex for booking the table. That means he will experience negative touch point. Now, similarly, let's say a busy working professional ordering food from his office desk can be concerned about whether his food will arrive in time. So if we were to work on these two particular instances and these two particular kind of customers who are interacting with this particular restaurant, you can see that these journeys can help restaurant analyze the ordering processes or also their website design in order to improve the customer journey. So let's say if a student finds the web booking experience easier and group of his fellow students enjoy a free Wi-Fi at the restaurant, that can really add value to customer journey through process improvement and planned surprise of free Wi-Fi. So these planned surprises are very important in any customer journey mapping because as you can imagine, you know, when customers come, they always have certain expectations. Now, if you're going the extra mile of meeting their expectations plus giving them or throwing something extra at them, then that would really add value to your business. Now, similarly, if the working professional is kept up to date via SMS about his on-time food delivery, this will really transform the way customers think about the restaurant service. So as you can see from this real life example, that whether it's a restaurant or service-based business, any professional services business, what really adds value to customer journey is going the extra mile, is actually caring for what customers are looking for. It is actually about finding out their desires and then meeting those as much as possible. I'm sure I have made a point about getting the repeat customers here as well, because once you have these happy customers, they would automatically lead to generation of repeat business. Now, moving on this point onwards, I'm just going to wrap up now and make some journal points. And in terms of journal points, I think these are applicable for any kind of business. These are applicable to any kind of customer facing staff or section of the business. And so the very first one, as you can see on the slide here, be as helpful as patient as possible, go extra mile, train your staff. Now, as you can see, these journal points are all about customers, basically. So if you are more helpful, if customers can feel that staff is very helpful and patient and they're trying the best to, you know, deliver the best possible customer service, that would certainly create the positive emotions in there. And again, this is connected to the next point, which is going the extra mile. When staff are trying their best to deliver the best possible customer service or to resolve a particular issue in question, they are, of course, they would try to go the extra mile, and if they do, customers again can feel that. Now, to achieve these two particular points, of course, you will have to train your staff, not just to deliver on just the customer service, but also on their skills and capabilities. So they are equipped and they are skilled and they're capable of doing what they're doing. Now, again, in terms of the journal points, sorry about the slide change there. Another thing you can do there is basically reward your customers. And that means that if you have loyal customers who trust your business and your services, always reward them. And that can be through vouchers and different promotions only for the existing customers, etc. And that would certainly enhance the customer journey as well. And another point there is just, I would say, the second last one: stay connected. So don't let yourself be forgotten. Reach out with social media, email, mail, etc. So there are so many tools out there these days, like MailChimp, or social media, free tools like Twitter, Facebook. As Jahan mentioned earlier as well, you can always use these tools to reach out to your customers so they know that you haven't forgotten about them. And that would also create a kind of relationship which is continuous and rewarding. Then in this regard, the last point I would make is the surprise. I think I mentioned that earlier when I was discussing the example, the restaurant example. So giving the free Wi-Fi to a group of students would actually be a surprise for them if they didn't know that the restaurant actually offers the free Wi-Fi. I know it can sometimes, these things are very small when you look at it from the outside, but these little surprises can actually really help gain the customer confidence. And these gestures will really help your business make that impression and the input in terms of the enhanced and improved customer journey. Now, I think that's all really which I wanted to cover here. But there are a few more points on this slide, which are, let's say, thank you, stay connected, be transparent, make communication easy. Again, these are very general points and applicable to any kind of business, any kind of organization. And these are the basic pillars, the core pillars of having a good customer service team, and of course, and of course, in terms of the customer experience. Be surprising, quality over speed. I think I've made my point about the surprises, but the quality over speed, again, if I could relate this to the restaurant example to make more sense of it. So, if the restaurant food is very good in quality, and let's say there is a delay in delivering that food to the table of, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes, then I'm sure that delay can be compensated if the food tastes really nice, and we can forget about that particular delay. But if we try to deliver to the customer well in time, but compromise the actual quality, then I'm sure that would create the negative emotion here, and that would always come in the way of generating repeat customers, or even establishing a base of loyal customers. So always try to give preference to quality. Of course, you should maintain a good speed as well, but we're just making a general point here that quality of work is very important. Now, if you guys have any questions, fire away. Me and Jahan are here to answer those. If you come up with any questions later on about the topics and points discussed during the webinar, you are more than welcome to email those to us, and we would be happy to get back to you ASAP. Darren, I would hand it back over to you so you can give the closing remarks.
Yeah, definitely. And if anyone does have questions, whether you're on the live webinar or whether you're watching this recording, you can go ahead and email info@growOnCloud.com if you have any questions about anything that's been talked about. And we'd love to talk to you, regardless of what your question is. If there's any way that we can help, that would be we would love to help you guys. So yeah, thank you again to Mohammed and Jahan for sharing these great insights. Hopefully the attendees and the people who are watching on the recording will have gained some insights as to what kinds of things go into optimizing and making the customer journey better, as well as how to actually go about mapping that customer journey so that it's easy to kind of see where you might be able to improve and what things to consider, as you're improving your customer journey, so that you can really provide the best experience for your customers, which in turn will provide the best experience for your business. Hopefully this will help you gain more customers, more repeat customers, more business, and just help you grow in the long term. So thanks again, guys, and thanks to all you attendees for spending your time with us today. Again, we apologize for the slight delay at the beginning, but I think we're ending here right about on time. So thanks again, and we'll hope to see you next time. Just watch out for our emails for the next webinar. It'll probably be in about a month, and we'll send you the topics and everything that goes along with that. So we appreciate it again, and we'll see you next time.